Hello friends, I'm Mohnish and I'm back after a lot of time. So today I want to discuss something special which is never discussed in this channel, which is securing your Linux server. So most of you might not have any Linux server, so I might give you one. So you can go for cloud provider like Linode and DigitalOcean to get your own Linux servers, but they cost you money. So I am going to say you a free way. So you can use hypervisor type 2 hypervisors, which I'll be covering later in this video, or application like Oracle VirtualBox or VMware. So these applications allow you to install other operating systems, run them inside your current host operating system. So I'll explain you it in a bit detail later in this video. But now let's get things started. So to get started, you can just download Oracle, whatever VirtualBox, which I'm using here. You can use VMware or any other thing, and you can download your desired version. So if you go to download VirtualBox, that big button, then you can see Windows host, macOS, Linux, Solaris, and Solaris 11 IPS hosts. But most of you will go with the Windows hosts. So, and it will prompt you some dialogues. Please check them yes and proceed. If you want a detailed video on how to install Oracle VM VirtualBox, then I'll put a video on it soon. And also, I'm going to use Kali Linux in this because it's kind of fast and that's the only machine free for me to do experimental stuff. So you can go to kalilinux.org. Okay, it's kali.org. Okay, and you can go to download and you can go to installer images and download the 64-bit 3.9 gigabyte file. This will be a ISO file which you have to upload here. You have to install it, but don't run it. So what you'll do, you'll have something when you fresh install it. Click on new, then give a name. Then you don't have to do anything with the folder. Then select the ISO image file, which will be in your download. Select that. Then select the type will be Linux, and then go for if you are using Kali Linux, then go for Debian 64-bit. And if you are installing Ubuntu, then Ubuntu 64-bit will be automatically selected for you. And then you can go for hardware. So you can this means base memory is the RAM and processor is like the number of processors you want to allocate. So for this Kali security that Linux, I have given 2 GB RAM and 2 CPU cores. You can give whatever you want. And hard disk is 20 GB, but I would recommend you to provide minimum of 30 GB for it to run smoothly. And one more thing, if your host machine or the, for example, for me, it's your Windows, if it is itself slow, then your virtual machine is, of course, going to be slow. So you can click on finish after that, and then you can get started. You can run the installations. If you want a detailed video, then I would put it anytime in this channel upon your request. So for now, I'll just start my Kali Linux security, whatever is the name. You can name it anything. So now it will power off my VM. So now our topic is securing our Linux servers. Before that, you should also know what is Linux. But today, what we are interested is in securing our Linux servers first. So as you see, my Kali Linux started and it is how a Kali Linux would run if it was a very Linux machine and not a Windows machine. So now it's starting and everything is loading. Now it will give me the login page. You can just type your login and password and then you can boom into the machine. These will be set up automatically while installation, which you have to give. And while installing Kali Linux for the first time, you can just go with the default. So now, what do you need to secure a Linux server? So why are we talking about security in the first place? So if you want to run a web application or any stuff which you want to show to the outside world, Linux servers are the best. And also, if you are publishing something, then there are hackers always. So here we are going to go for some security stuff. So first, you should check that are you a sudo user or not. I'll type sudo, and yes, I'm a sudo user. I'm a sudoer. I'm the sudoer files. But if you're not, you can just go for the vi sudo file, which will again require sudo permission. So you have to log in by root. Uh, so I'll just type my password. So you can add your, for example, here you can add your username and type all equals to all, and you will be in the sudo files, and done. So I'll just control X, and that was my favorite text editor. Like my favorite text editor is Nano. We'll be talk about that later. So now let's go for security. So first thing, why do servers get hacked? Because they use depreciated versions of utilities. For example, Nmap. Nmap is not used in anything. For example, Apache. It's a web server. It might get updates, but as you have not enabled any automatic updates, your server might get hacked. So how you do it manually is sudo apt update, and it will update your repository list. So it is a repository list, like it contains all the packages which can be installed. And apt is the advanced command, like that's what it's some advanced pt. I forgot the pt, so I'll just google search. You have mozilla here also. I just don't need to go to my windows machine anymore. I can just go to apt full form, and it's some advanced something. I just forgot. It's taking some time. It's advanced persistent, no, apt linux. I'll just type linux. This is not the apt full form. So it's advanced packaging tool. So there are package managers like dpkg and apt, which are for managing stuff in linux, like your files. But after updating your repositories, what you normally do is sudo apt upgrade to upgrade your repositories. This is what upgrades it. But we want it to be automated. So what we are going to do is we are going to install something known as unattended upgrades. So let's do it. Sudo apt install, sorry for the spelling mistake, install unattended upgrades. So this will install unattended upgrades. So if it is not installed already, then you will be prompted, do you want to install? Just click enter, or you can just add slash y at the end. So it will install it. But now we need to configure it to automatically update our stuff in Linux, because we can do it manually though. But Linux servers, the best practice is what makes you secure. So let's do it. So we are going to use dpkg reconfigure, dpkg configure priority equals to low unattended upgrades. So we are setting a low priority for the unattended upgrades, because if we put it on a high, then it will disturb our server, the main work our server is doing if it's running a web application, as my Ubuntu server in this does. So if I click this, you will get a beautiful form. So it should be run as root. So I have to add the sudo privileges, and you will see a beautiful screen. Just click yes. But if you don't want no, then you can just use the directional arrows. But I wanted yes. Just do it. It's done. But now what? So most of you must be using SSH or Secure Shell for logging into your machines. So I'll just quickly do one Secure Shell, which is PowerShell. I'll not PowerShell is what I'm using. So I'll just SSH. Kali is my username at 192.168.29. Like this is my local IP address. I have to see the so ifconfig will give you all the things. So my inet is 176. So if I just go to this 176 and okay, so I defaulted my port to 769 like for security. So and I have a public private key pair access so I can securely log in. So we'll discuss how to change the default port of SSH from port 22 and set up public private key pair authentication instead of password authentication in the next video. And a quick shout out to my new Linux Ubuntu server. So I have bought a domain recently which is in, and it has nothing like as much like until my Ubuntu server starts, it will just throw Argo tunnel error. So I'll just close it. But as my Ubuntu server starts, which is starting now, it will just show you a website at talklad.in. It's redirected at talklad.in, which is my own domain. So I'm in developing this site. So you may give me some suggestions so I can develop my site in a better manner. Please put your suggestion in the chat box. It helps done. So as I'll be redirected to the login page, I'll just start using my talk ladder. So it's taking time, no problem. This is a gigabyte machine. Um, and I hope it starts in some 5 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. It didn't. Okay, it's taking kind of a lot of time. Okay, so it started. So now I'll just go to at talklad.in and you will see my website like it's just a template which I copied and I just made some changes like the business app store. I Mohnish develop got products to increase your productivity and scale your business. Like it's just like this is the only thing I have edited in the HTML file and I'm using a web server to host this, which I'll not reveal. So and this is some like template. So there's nothing I can do about this. Like I like this template. So in my next videos, I'll be building this website in this template with my local host, of course, Visual Studio. I'll not be doing in the server. And then I'll upload all this stuff in the server later. So we are going to develop this site and then we are going to do much more in Linux. Thank you friends for watching this video. I hope you like this video. Please like, subscribe, and share this video so people get notified about the latest security updates in Linux. Thank you, friends.